Welcome back to Spotlight Interviews, my very first interview of 2025. I'm Melanie Browning, and each week I'll be bringing you an interview with a filmmaker, mostly actor based, but all sorts of different people in the industry. And tonight I have Charla Bocchicchio will be joining in live. She's in the waiting room. I'm so excited she's here. So let me get her in here. And you guys, while you're here, go ahead and throw in questions. Even if you're watching it on a replay, go ahead and throw in some questions and make sure you follow Charla on Instagram as well. Yay! Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
You look amazing.
Oh, thanks.
It's so good to see you again. And for those that may not have seen our interview, that you were so amazing to volunteer, like you were the first volunteer way back in 2019, I think it was. I said, yes, I'll be on your show, even though no one's following you. So thank you for that.
Nice.
This is my very first time ever bringing a guest back on. So thank you.
Well, I feel very privileged.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you again for saying yes. It's just, it's always an honor. And I want to jump in and hear what you've been up to the last 4 years. It seems like there's been a lot of projects. You have a lot of things going on as well. But lately, like, it seems like a lot of projects are out there. So I have kind of lost track of what you've been doing. I'll see you pop up. I'll go to a film festival. I'm like, I know her.
Well,
So
wow, it's been 4 years since we talked last.
yeah,
Wow.
just about. It was like I looked back and it said 202 weeks.
Wow. Okay, so a lot's happened in 4 years. I had a couple of really busy years, like work-wise, and then I've had some personal stuff to deal with in the last year and a half. And not to get too heavy, although the last time we did get pretty heavy, didn't we?
Yes, we whatever you want. This is your platform, so I'm good
Well,
either way.
just okay. So we'll back up. I was working a lot right after we spoke last, right after the last Spotlight interview. And then it seems like, because that was after COVID and things were starting to pick
Yeah.
back up.
Mm-hmm.
So if I remember correctly, it's interesting because last year in 2024, I don't feel like I worked very much because I mean, industry wide, I think it was pretty slow.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't working a lot, but a lot of my projects that were filmed in the last 4 years were being like premiered and released last year. So I was attending a lot of premieres and film festivals and things like that. So it felt like I was in the middle of things, but I wasn't really on set quite as much as I would have been.
Well, was that
Normally.
good because like you were able to actually go to some of those, I'm sure.
It was. That was actually really good. It worked out to be great, actually, because I was able to feel like I was celebrating those past jobs and getting reconnected with the cast and crew and stuff like that. So that was really a kind of a blessing in disguise, I think.
And it's also a good reminder to those that are starting out and maybe you film something and you're like waiting. It might be a while. It might be
Absolutely. And sometimes you never see it. Like sometimes it just doesn't get finished.
Absolutely.
That's the reality of stuff. So to be kind of, I think the lesson there is not attaching to stuff too much, just doing what you do, doing your best, and then kind of letting it go. It's the same that I have always taught with auditions. You just do your work and then you let it go and you don't attach to an outcome. Well, it's the same when you book it, actually, unfortunately, because I think we do assume that it's going to be released and we're going to see it up, on a big screen or your small screen or whatever.
Or that we're going to be in it, even when it's released.
Absolutely. Like we're going to actually make the cut. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we just end up on the editing room floor. It happens to all of us.
It does. It adds to the energy of the film, though. You were there, you did the work.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
So in those times, in the premieres you've been going to and catching up, What are there any things that we should go out and run out and see? Like I know listing all of them would be too much pressure to throw on you, but what is like
So,
maybe something near and dear to the heart?
well, I can tell you a few things that were released within the last year that I think are really, I'm really proud of. And they're available now. So people can go watch them. We've got Alien Country. Oh, there we are. Alien Country's right here on the
Hi.
message thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Alien Country is available on Amazon Prime. I think maybe some other platforms. If you search for it, and it'll come up,
It'll
with
come up.
where to watch it. Alien Country, amazing film. So proud of that, and so excited to have been involved in it. Another one is He Never Left, horror film that is also available on several platforms, Amazon Prime being one of them. That was one that got a lot of accolades this year at festivals and won a ton of awards. Colin
Hmm.
Cunningham was remarkable in that, just blew my mind.
Yep.
So I was very happy to be able to have been involved in that one. Another one, which I won a couple of acting awards for, was Love in Focus, which is a rom-com, completely different than the whole horror thing. But Colin and I got to work together on that one as well as husband and wife. So,
That's awesome. Like, yeah, just
I
seeing
have him killed in one, and then we're like all kissy and lovey in the other one. So it was a real interesting experience.
which one did you film
We
first?
filmed
I'm just curious.
we filmed Love and Focus first, and in fact, we were on set for Love and Focus. It was the first time I'd ever met him,
Okay.
and during lunch or something, we were kind of chatting and going over lines and stuff, and I'm like, so what's next for you? What are you working on next? Because I didn't know. We
Mhm.
neither of us knew.
He's pretty quiet
And
too.
he said, well, I'm doing this little indie horror film with some guys, with witching seasons. And I'm like, wait, what? Is it He Never Left? And he said, yeah, it is. And so I'm like, oh, this is interesting because I get to play, I don't want to have too many
Yeah.
spoilers, but
Yeah. No.
I am in that as well, Colin, and we're going to be working together again. So that was kind of a trip.
Cool. That's totally awesome. I love
Hmm.
those behind the scenes moments. It's super cool.
Yeah.
It's such a wonderful community up there in Utah with just the filmmakers and all the actors, and it is fun getting to see different characters. They're the same actors and play different roles, and it really, I
Yeah.
think, just shows the talent because you go into it and you can see those characters regardless of what they're playing.
Hmm.
So that's just such amazing talent there. So
Oh, we
I
had a
miss
good
you
time.
guys tons,
Oh,
and so
we miss
just kind of
you.
kind of feels like a reconnection there. So
Yeah, for sure.
what I
Let's,
wanted to do,
oh, never
if
mind.
you're up for it,
Okay.
were there more that you wanted to
No, no,
maybe?
I was trying to think if there was anything else that's actually available right now. I think those are the big ones. Royal Facade was another fun one last year. I have a small-ish role in that, but it is available online as well on streaming platforms. So if people just search for these or go to my IMDb,
Yes.
and yeah, you can find
Follow
stuff
her
there.
on IMDb. You'll get your notifications, and it's awesome. Wonderful. We do a little dance party, and
Yes,
it's wonderful.
absolutely. Yeah.
So, what I wanted you on, like 2025, I'm starting this a little bit more fresh, and
Mhm.
kind of my theme for me personally this year is consistency. And when I was putting it together, you came to mind, and it's funny because like you mentioned the audition, like just kind of let it go. Like I had an audition that like it was one of those ones I really want this. It's like no,
Uh-huh.
okay, just okay, yeah, you've been taught, let it go.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it was just something that got caught up, and then you get this booking later on. Sometimes that happens too.
Hmm.
But you come to mind often, and you definitely came to mind with consistency. And just the body of work, I think, helps speak with that. But it's the work that you put in as well. And I just wanted to ask you to kind of, if you can, share with new actors out there. And that's how I learned about you and how I got to meet you in person. Was I went to an in-person acting class back in the day when
That
that,
seems like a lifetime ago now, right?
yeah. And
Wow.
I remember walking in and I was just terrified. I hadn't done anything in years. I still have the tape that you sent me, and I'm just like, oh my goodness.
You
And you
do.
just, you and the class, the classmates that have taken you and, worked with you, just were so welcoming and open. And you just created the space to just do. It doesn't matter where you're at, just do.
Right.
So I wanted to know if you could share what are some things for 2025 for those looking to either get in or like level up a little bit more.
Mhm. There's so many things, I think, and it depends on where you are in your acting journey, I suppose. I think in general, it's about, you know, it's at the beginning of the year is a great time to kind of reflect on what do we want to change, about the way we've been doing stuff. I tend to, by the end of the year, I tend to get a little pessimistic, I think. Um, Especially last year. And I mean, given I've had quite a time, this has been a really rough year and a half. I lost my husband, I got a cancer diagnosis, started treatment. So it's like, it's not for nothing that I feel that
Yeah.
way. But all of us have things that happen in our lives, right? And it can be big or small, it's still personal to us. So I think by the end of last year, I was pretty run down, and I was pretty I think my self-esteem took a real hit. And it's odd, because I wasn't working as much, but cancer does something weird with self-esteem, and I can't even explain it. It doesn't even make logical sense to me, but it's like you really start to question your worth, I think. And so by the end of the year, I was like, "Ugh, I'm never going to work again. Do I just want to quit?" I mean, literally, we all have these thoughts,
Mhm.
right? It doesn't matter what level we're at. We all question our ability and our worth in the industry. And so it's interesting because this first couple of weeks of January, or last week rather, what day is it today? The
The
14th?
14th, January
Okay.
14th.
So last week we had the Utah International Film Festival, and it was like plugging into a socket and just getting recharged. And I think the reasoning, and the reason I'm saying this is because it's about relationships and getting yourself in front of people and sitting there and having a talk and connecting with industry people and watching films and going to the awards show. And it's like, I felt like my life was saved in a way when I was with these people that I love so dearly and meeting new people that inspired me. I had the opportunity at the film festival to conduct some of the filmmaker interviews in the podcast room, and it was so much fun. I just loved sitting down with these people, and like asking them about their projects. And everyone has this burning desire to just tell stories, and it was really inspiring to me. So I think one thing that actors at any level can do is find either events or things that you can get involved in that ignite you, that excite you, and get you ramped up again, and get you to where you're like thinking positively about this industry, because it can really beat you down. I mean, I know I'm not alone in that. I know I'm not, because I've talked to people. So I think
And
that's one.
that helps. Yeah, that helps connect. Really, you like right now, me hearing you say that,
Yeah.
and I know it's in all of our heads, but I look up to you. You're just an amazing mentor to me.
Mm,
And especially with watching, because you are open about and share the things in your life, and yet you still, you persist looking forward.
yeah.
That hearing that is like, wow, okay, this is a real thing, and this is how you can go about
Yeah.
getting past it.
And so what that says to me is that it's about connection. It's about connecting to other people. It's about relationships. It's about, oh, there's Cameron. Hey, Cameron. Um,
That
I think I think that's a huge part of igniting us as creative people. We can't function alone very well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think in addition to that, and it's funny, some people would call that the networking
Mm-hmm.
piece.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to use the word networking so much. I like to think of it as relationship
I
building.
love that.
But outside of that, get into a class. If you don't have a class, find a different class. Find a different teacher that you haven't worked with. Get excited about this thing that we do again.
Mm.
Get new headshots.
Yeah.
Um, update your demo reel.
Which
Um,
are you offering that? I mean, I saw one with Cameron who
I
was in here was just
I
absolutely
am.
fire.
I am. It's one of the services that I offer is demo reel editing. I do it occasionally for people that know me. So yeah, if anyone needs help updating or creating their demo reel with existing footage, I will say, because I'm not gonna shoot and produce a scene for you, but
And
but
you
if
do
you have,
amazing work. Like I came to you with my first little like here's the second and here it's kind of dark, but here's yeah. Can you and like what you gave back to me, I was like, wow, is that me? The
well,
power
good,
of
I did my
editing
job.
and music, amazing.
Yeah, so yeah, and Cameron, who's on the feed right now, I just finished his, and all 14. Cameron, the fact that you have 14 reps is like, I think it might be a record. I
Yes,
think it might be a world record that he has the
yes.
most reps in different
He
markets.
is an animal when it comes to that. It's so impressive.
Crazy. Okay, so demo reels, headshots. And again, a lot of it is mindset, right? If you're
Mhm.
kind of feeling like you're stuck, then, well, learn to fall in love with auditioning again. Because if you don't love auditioning, well, I am so sorry, but that is the majority of what we do as actors. So you better love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
I
gonna kill
struggle
you.
with that tons, and I'm like, I don't need to. Wait, no, you got you
I
got to. You
I
have
struggle
to.
with it
Go
too. And
play.
here's the tricky part for me. I'm at the point where the last several years, the majority of my bookings have been direct bookings.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Nice.
don't
That's
have to
just
audition all the time. And that's a bad thing for me because I'm like, oh, I have to audition? What? No,
just keep bringing more of those direct bookings.
but again, the direct bookings don't come out of nowhere. They came from relationships that I've
Yeah.
built through the years. I've worked with people and they want to work with me again. And so I think that's another reason to build relationships with people in the industry, and not to build relationships because they can give you something. It's about what can you offer to
Yeah.
them. You know, it's that whole thing. What is that that saying about don't be don't try to be interesting, be interested.
Yes.
And then,
Mm-hmm.
that's a more dynamic thing that happens, like in a scene, for example, or even just an interview, right? Or a conversation. If we're
Yeah.
trying really hard to be interesting, well, it, it's not going to land very well. But if we're interested in the other person and trying to build the relationship in that way, then it's going to be a more equal thing. And those kinds of relationships will come back and reward you with an opportunity to work with them again. And
Absolutely.
that's amazing. I love that. Yeah.
Yep, you definitely like it's always about like coming back, and it's I see that often with your work, and I just always want to like work with you somehow, and it's just like, do I have anything? Come on my show, please, just because I want to be around you.
I
And
love it.
you're so giving, like in your classes. I believe I did I remember going to your house and doing some sort of like I think I did an audition with you in
Mm-hmm.
person, and just you do have that. You take that time and you listen, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I appreciate that, and I want to go see if those interviews that you did were they live? Is that something we can go dive
They
into?
were
Maybe
live, and
go.
I'm not an interviewer, so I probably made a little bit of a fool out of myself,
Oh,
but I had a good time.
I think that's what's
Like,
important.
here's
Yeah.
the one thing where I made a kind of a fool out of myself. I asked a documentary filmmaker um, if he wrote his film.
Well, but
I'm like, it was the opening.
there's
Like, so did you write this script? And then I was like, wait a minute, you don't write a
there
documentary.
was some writing involved. There's planning there.
Planning, but yeah. So I kind of backpedaled and got on track again.
Well, you caught it.
But
Like
I
that's
I
the
did.
biggest part.
I did. At least wasn't just completely ignorant to it and embarrassed when I watched it later.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
Oh,
embarrassed in the
I've done
moment.
that plenty of times. Like,
I'm
oh
sure
my
we all
goodness.
do.
I'm going to jump in here. There's some questions and comments thrown in here
Okay.
that I don't want to skip
Yeah.
over. And I did not put my glasses on. So we
Uh-oh.
are, oh, here we go.
Oh,
All,
I'm looking through them now
all
too.
sorts of goodness going on in here. People joining and giving love. And oh, wow. Wow.
Aw.
I went back too far. Okay. We adore her. We have mutual friends with Witching Season, and she is the kindest, loving person. I wish I had her courage to even try to act.
Oh,
Thanks for
if you
being
want to try,
here,
try.
lady. Alien Country, we filmed with Charla in 2020, and the movie is still being released this year. Laughing, crying emojis. They seem like a fun
They're
group.
great.
You know, they're behind the
So
scenes and
talented.
all their emails. I love them.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, out in the U.S. and California, releasing in the U.K. this month for the Alien
Excellent.
Country.
They were at a festival in Italy in the fall.
Very nice.
While I was in Italy, but I was in another part of Italy. I couldn't get up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's beautiful, beautiful. I took a vacation through you. Thank you very much.
You're
That's
welcome.
awesome. So fun that you and Colin work together in horror and romance. LOL. Okay. Oh, Cameron, thank you. He said 2 beacons in my life.
Oh,
Cameron is amazing. That's another person
yeah.
that I just watch their move and say maybe someday I'll be brave enough.
You should have him. You should have him on your
I've had him once. I'll
Oh,
have to
you
have
have?
him back on.
Okay.
Now that he's just working so much though,
Yeah.
man.
He's always somewhere.
That's funny. Yeah, all of my 14 reps love me
Mm-hmm.
or love it. Worth every penny. You're real.
Oh, the
So there
real.
you go. Yep. All right, man. Just so much love in here, Charla.
I
Look at
love
what you
it.
people. So much. You're amazing.
Oh my
Um,
God.
moving forward, what at this point, like what is it you want to do?
I want to keep working.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's funny, someone had this conversation with me at the film festival last week, and it's interesting watching movies like The Substance. I don't know if you've seen
I
it,
have not.
Demi Moore. It made me really want to have a some really good juicy roles as a middle-aged woman. Like like the number one on the call sheet, because I think so
Yes.
often I get like pigeonholed into this it's like supporting role, which I love. I love those roles. I love to, kind of help tell the story and give some of the exposition and build the lead character up. And at the same time, I think it would be really exciting to get in the driver's seat a little bit more and get some really interesting roles thrown at me. So I'm throwing that out into the universe
Okay,
that,
let's dive in a little bit more. Okay, so more of a leading role. What genre? What maybe just a
anything.
little bit more of the
Here's
character.
what would be a really, okay,
Ideal.
I don't really have an
No.
ideal. I would love to, I kind of think it would be fun to do like a rom-com with like a middle-aged couple, right? Which
Yes.
you don't see
Mhm.
very often. I think that would be because, hey, I mean, and I'm not looking for love in my life, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm still like a
Mhm.
widow and I'm not there. But I think a lot of people in their middle age that find themselves single, there is kind of that whole dating process or whatever it is, where they do come together later in life. So I think it's something that I think it has an audience. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Outside
So I
of
know there's some
that,
writers in here. I know there's some people. Take your
outside of
notes.
that, I think I would, just a really good juicy drama would be really rewarding. Something challenging and yeah, I don't know. Story wise, it could be anything, but I'm always up for whatever challenge there
That's
is.
awesome.
And
That's
until those roles come, I will I will do whatever is in front of me. And, you know, the project I'm working on at the moment is always the most important
Yeah.
project in my life. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I
It's
believe I saw
funny.
that just like yesterday, or was that earlier today? Booking.
Oh, for
That
me,
you booked something? Mm-hmm.
I booked something last week. I can't really talk about
Yeah.
it, but I'm really super excited about it. It'll start shooting probably the end of, well, I guess beginning of February, all the way through February, and I don't know how many days I'll have on it, but I'm really excited about it. And it was a good win for me because yeah, it came at a time where when I did the audition, I was kind of like, okay, this was the end of last year when the audition came in, right before Christmas, I think. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to find a reader. And I was thinking about who am I gonna have, you know, because it's like it's not easy for me to find a reader anymore now that John is gone. He was
Mm-hmm.
my guy, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking this, and right as I was thinking it, I get a text from a friend, Tony Rivas, who said, hey, you want to go to coffee sometime soon? And I was like, yes, and would you like to come and be a reader for me? And he did, and he helped me book it. He was fantastic. I'm so grateful for him. But I was yeah, this was at the end of the year when I was really feeling a little low and down, and I had been in the hospital for 4 days with the flu and a respiratory infection. And I'm like, okay, Christmas is coming. I'm the end of the year. I can do this. And then I, you know, get this audition, and it really excited me. And when I found out I booked it this last week, I was like, yes, I really needed this win at the beginning of 2025. I felt like it was a really good place for me to start this year because I'm ready to kind of forge ahead and really pour myself into my career more than I have been able to in the last 2 years because of personal things. And, you know, as far as the cancer goes, a lot of people are, it's funny, I'll talk to people and they'll be like, well, you know, I didn't know if you were feeling okay, or, you know, we were going to ask you to be on this project, but I wasn't sure how you were feeling. And it's like, yeah, I love that people are thinking about it. I'm feeling great. The cancer treatments are working. My cancer, my myeloma is down to very minimal residual disease in my blood, in my bone marrow. I mean, it's still there and it'll never
Mm-hmm.
truly go away because that's the kind of cancer it is. But
Okay.
I will just be in some kind of treatment for the rest of my life until the treatment stops working, and then time to move on to the next, right?
Or
Whatever's
until they
there.
upgrade technology, you know?
Exactly. You never know what's going to happen. But I feel good. I feel healthy. I've been so lucky that the side effects have been very minimal for me. Um, you know, one of the challenges I run into is that I have a low white blood count a lot of the time because of the treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And that can mean that I'm a little more susceptible to, you know, infections and things like that, which is why I ended up in the hospital with the
Okay.
flu. So I have to be careful, but yeah, I'm ready to work as much as possible.
That's
And
exciting.
and I love it when I get new actors that are wanting to do coaching with me. You know, I've got my little setup down here in my basement, and I love to work
It's
with
so
new people.
professional. Like it just everything, every single time I've worked with you has been amazing. And
Oh, thanks.
I'm getting ready to do my reel again. I have a couple more, a little bit better. Well, actually, quite a bit better.
Oh,
Send,
nice. Can't wait to see
to
it.
send your way. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll be reaching out for that
Good.
as well. But definitely, if you're looking for someone that's there, that's understanding, that can get you to a level, that can take you from, you know, even if you're higher, but even if you're just starting out and you don't know where to go, and you know, there's no intimidation at all. Charlotte's amazing,
Mm.
kind, gentle, and firm. I believe. Like
I'm not
you
gonna
know
lie
that
to people.
you're
I'm not
not.
gonna tell you
Yeah,
you're good if you're not, you
you're not
know.
gonna
I'm
waste
gonna
anyone's time.
No.
So
Mm-mm.
yeah.
It's funny. That's the one thing as people are beginning the acting experience. You know, I get that question a lot, and you kind of asked it in the beginning. You know, what can actors do to kind of get to that next level? And I think at some point you really do need to reflect and say, "Am I good? Am I any good?" Because it is a talent,
Hmm.
acting, right? It's something I think we can learn, but also some people just aren't cut out for it,
Yeah.
right? And I think, and again, I don't like to waste people's time. And so, you know, if I get the sense that someone is starting into this area, but it's more for maybe this kind of fantasy they have of fame or fortune or, you know, whatever it is, then usually what ends up happening is when they find out the work that's going to be required
The investment.
and how much time and investment, then normally they just kind of fizzle out and stop
Yeah.
messaging.
Yeah.
But so normally it kind of takes care of itself. But yeah, I think that's interesting. You do have to kind of reflect every once in a while. And even us who have been in it for a while, watch your auditions tapes. Watch, like, you know, when you've got some distance from them.
Yes.
Hopefully you're keeping all of your audition tapes somewhere in a file or something, or a folder. And every once in a while, I will go back and I will watch old audition tapes, and I will really kind of try to reflect on, okay, if I haven't been booking very much this year, and I'm looking at my audition tapes going, I'm not very good right now. Like, I am in a space where I'm questioning myself. So my auditions are kind of sucking.
I haven't
Like,
seen any of those. You haven't posted those ones on YouTube, because I watch them and I'm like, oh my goodness. It's like, what is she seeing in her mind? Because I see it, and it's like, there's this one spot you go to all the time. I'm like, man, how does she do that? Awesome.
I'm probably not going to upload the crappy ones to YouTube, right?
That's smart, but
maybe I should.
Still, like,
maybe I should.
Yeah, your version of crap is probably
and
a lot
I mean, and again, they're not horrible, but I notice like a disconnect or something, or there's something that maybe there's a little too much desperation, you know, or maybe I'm just trying a little bit too hard because I haven't booked in a while. You know, I think we all get into those kinds of things that go through our head.
How do you ever notice it, like in the audition, like you're noticing you're doing that? And if so, like, how do you bring yourself back?
Well, okay. I think the best way for me to go into an audition when I'm ready to self-tape is prepare before I get to my setup, right? So like, this is my self-tape setup, and I've got my camera and my lights and stuff. And sometimes I have the tendency of turning everything on, getting out here, and then starting my kind of rehearsal process with myself. And I like to try, if I can, rather to think of it like we did when we were doing in-person auditions, and that this is the space that I'm entering to do my audition. You know, that this is like this sacred space, and it's not where I'm just working through it to kind of get to the point where I'm ready to tape, but I've already worked through it. I've been walking around the house running my lines, or I've been, you know, whatever it is, so that by the time I get to my setup, I'm ready to tape. And hopefully I'm only going to do it maximum of 3 times before I just, you know, go, well, if it's there, it's there. If it's not going to get any better. Right. Because I think at some point we just start to get in our heads, and it's just, yeah, I'm telling you, if you're on take number 5, it's not going to get better. It's not. That's just the honest truth. It's not. It's like you might as well just stop. Yeah. Because I bet that one of the first or second takes was probably the best. And what happens is we can't see it because we get to the point where we're trying to micromanage our own audition. We're watching it back as we go, and we're finding little things that we want from this take that we didn't do in this one, but we want to do what we did in this one and so it's like we're trying so hard to get the perfect take that we shoot ourselves in the foot, and we end up having a horrible time. And by the time we get out of that self-tape space and onto our computer to upload everything, we're like frustrated,
exhausted, like it's so mentally draining.
Absolutely. So I think it's important to you know, think back to what it was like. We didn't have 6 or 7 takes when we used to go into Jeff Johnson's office or whatever casting office we were in. We walked in, we were ready when we walked in. We had worked it. We ran our lines in the car on the way over there. We were ready. There's the energy of it, right? Yeah. Do you remember? There's the energy, and we walk in and we are excited and we do our thing, and maybe they have you do it again, maybe not. And then you say goodbye and you walk out and you're like, whew, I just did an audition. I just worked today. I
Yeah.
just got to act
Yeah.
today in front of other people,
I
you
like
know.
that. I like that because I think a lot of times I think just to get myself kind of to a place, like I'll go to my auditioning space just to
Mm,
kind of to start seeing it and everything. But
okay.
I think it does add that extra layer of acting. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's, I mean, there are other times I do it, depends on what it is and how much dialogue there is to really
Right.
work. So,
And,
um,
and everyone needs something a little different, right? So, the way I'm telling, what works for me might not be the best thing for other people. Maybe they do like to workshop it
yeah.
in their space and that's
But
better for them.
it's definitely resonating with me. So thank you. And I love, working with coaches too, because
Hmm.
sometimes you just have, me personally, I have no idea where I'm at. Help me, please. Someone tell me which way to go.
Yeah, I think we tend to complicate things as actors. I think it's a lot simpler than we make it sometimes. Um, I think sometimes we get so lost in, like, I don't know, the script analysis, or creating our character or whatever it is, that we forget that our job is just to take text and breathe life into it, right? That it's all the stuff that's going on inside. It's our internal monologue, and we have to, just, it's simple. It's pretty simple. We bring ourselves to this text, and we've got to understand the story, right? Because that's our job, is
Mhm.
telling the story.
Yeah.
You know, connecting with your reader, I think, is super important. Just being there in the moment, letting the things happen that are gonna, or like, organically happen. I think sometimes when I do a take, sometimes, or I'll see students do this, and they'll say, I don't know, I didn't feel like that, like I did much. It's like, well, then yes, that's where you need to be. Stop acting, stop doing stuff, like, just be there, be in the moment. Don't
I'm gonna
don't
say
overthink
my
it.
line and then move my hand
Yes,
this way and then
it's
look
like they've
that way.
they've crafted a performance. They've got every single moment already mapped out it from their rehearsal, and I think that really can cut your legs off. It's like, oh, that's never. I don't think that's a good thing. Because then we're not in the moment. We're just thinking about replaying this thing we already
Yeah.
have in our head that
Right.
we worked out. Yeah. Um, there was an interesting quote I heard recently on a YouTube channel. I'm trying to think of, it was a simple thing. It said, when an actor feels out of control in their audition, like they don't have everything under control, that is when they're closest to the character's experience.
Mm.
So, because we want to control how the audition is going. And if we allow ourselves to be in a moment of, like, confusion, or that we're not controlling the way that this scene is going to happen and the interactions are going to happen, when we're just living there presently, that's when we're the closest to the character's experience. I thought that was an interesting
Yeah,
thought.
that makes sense. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Is there anything else? You've given so much. Anything else?
um no, I think keep an eye on my IMDb just to see what's coming. We've got some, the Zion's Indie Film Fest is coming at the end of February, and I've got 3 projects in
Oh,
that.
oh, wonderful.
I'm Masquerade Mix Up, which was at the Utah Film Festival. Um, Princess for a Day, which is Spanky Ward's new
Oh,
film, which
okay.
was super fun. I can't wait to see this film. I think it'll be really fun. I play kind of the I'm not a very likable character in this film.
I'm always conflicted seeing that side of you because you're so darn good, and I'm like, but
That means I'm
it's
doing my
so weird.
job.
You're
Oh,
so good at it. It's, yeah, it's
and then the third project at Ziff is Paul Cartwright's. It's in the short film category, but it's really a pilot that he did,
okay.
and it's called "But Wait, There's More." About,
Okay.
about kind of the infomercial world. It's very
That's
funny, very funny. So I
that's
can't wait to see those. I've already seen Masquerade Mix Up, which was very very fun. We won Best Ensemble Cast at Utah Film Festival.
that looked like so
Shay,
much fun. I was like, oh,
it
I'm so
was
missing out.
it was a lot of fun. Shay and I both got nominations for acting. But yeah, it's a super fun film. So I'm excited to see what else happens this year. And I'm ready for it.
Awesome. So everyone,
Yep.
if you're listening, go on the Zion's International Film Festival, watch
Yep.
those films and the other ones. There's a ton
Hmm.
of amazing things going on there. So, and when I upload this to YouTube, I'll make sure I list a lot of the different things. So
Okay.
thank you so much. And if you're looking for some help in your auditions, you're real, go to Charla. And if you're starting out, if wherever you are in your acting journey, just keep going, reach out to people, talk, and yes,
It's
just
true. I think if people find their tribe of people, then you're never going to be alone, right? I've had to really learn that since John died, is that because I can feel very isolated at times, and so to remember that I have this really wonderful tribe of Utah filmmakers here that support me and love me and have kind of saved my life in a way. They don't even know it, but I
mm,
swear to God, like there have been moments where I'm just like, mm-mm, I think I'm done.
mm,
And to be able to have when I go to the Utah Film Festival and I see these people and they're just wonderful and supportive and so connected on an emotional level, it's a really beautiful thing. So I think anybody can have that if they just find who their people are. You know, we all have our people, so find them and use them. You know, it's a give and take, right? You have to be willing to help, and you're going to get help in return. If you need a reader, you know, somebody's going to be there for you if you offer that to someone else. So I think it's about what can you give to other people, and and for me, it's learning how to ask for help
mm.
because that's really hard for me.
I can see that
So
from you. And I want to say that you breathe life into us. You've done that for me, and I see you do it for other people. I see when people are around you, they light up. Like that's why I think
oh,
what I loved so much about seeing those photos is just, I could see it just with everyone that's around you. So you do that for us too. And anytime you need anything, day or night, give me a
thank
call. Give any of the amazing
you.
people that you know a
I
call because
appreciate it.
you're amazing woman, and we appreciate you very, very much. So,
Thank you. You're going to get me all misty eyed
yeah.
here. Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
So, with that, follow IMDb, and I'm going to have to say goodbye now.
Okay.
But thank you so much, and you will be my when I have people on for the third time. You will be
Yes.
my
I
first
better be your
too.
first.
Yay! Awesome.
All
Thank you so
right.
much, Charla, for your time. Have a wonderful night.
Bye.
Bye bye.